game all year long. It's basically the finals, the nationals, the grand championship between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, everyone is super excited for it, and many, many people base giant events and parties and everything around it. I am personally not really into sports. I used to be when I was much younger. I used to actually follow American football quite diligently through the mid 2000s. I used to root for various teams like the New York Giants, the New York Jets, usually New York teams because I lived in Connecticut at that time. And it was fun every week following the different games and seeing the placings and everything. However, it's been quite a long time since I've really had opportunity to do that. Let's face it, sports are exhausting. They play a million games. There's a million stats. There's a million players. There's all kinds of crazy things going on. The rules are complicated. It's not exactly something that you can easily just jump into and casually follow and know what the hell is happening. So for me, over the years, I kind of fell out of love with sports as I became more of a hardcore gamer, started my YouTube career 15 years ago, and the rest is history. However, since tomorrow is the Super Bowl, since we were looking for a variety of content to do, I decided that today we would do a fun marathon event, which is exactly what we're doing. All right, now, this is the Level 1 podcast. Technically, this is part of the marathon, but at the very same time, this is also kind of the introduction to my Super Saturday event. So, there's a few things we'll actually be doing on this podcast that are normal for a podcast, but there's a few things that will not be. Okay? You may notice something a little different about our leaderboard below, and the difference is that there is no tips goals. Why? Because since this is the Super Saturday event, I'm already going to be wearing special attire and things for the event. So no, there's no $50, $100, $150 tips goals or anything like that today, simply because you're already going to be seeing weird, silly things out of the ordinary here on the stream all day long. Okay? Now, the first part that we're going to start right away, we're going to do it right now. All right? I have 3 NFL jerseys. All right? These were purchased many, many years ago. Allow me to tell you the story. All right? So many years ago, should I show you the jerseys first? Should I? And then I'll tell the story for those who don't know the story? Would you like to see the jerseys? Because you're going to get to choose. Okay? Yeah? Okay, let me show you the jerseys. Because you get to choose which jersey I wear first today. Let me get them. So, jersey number 1. Jersey number 2. I don't know why the arms are like stuck in the holes. I don't know why. A little weird. And jersey number 3. There you go. Now, hang them here. Why the heck do I have NFL jerseys? And why is there no actual NFL branding on them? There's a story behind this, so allow me to tell the story. All right? Some 23 years ago. Yes, this story actually goes back that far. 23 years ago. I was starting in the competitive Street Fighter community. I started traveling the country, participating in competitive Street Fighter events in arcades. Back then, there weren't accepted home versions of these games on console. So if I was going to play a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, or Capcom vs. SNK 2, or Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, or Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and I was going to play in a tournament, you had to show up in person at an arcade. And basically the reason I bought these is because I had an online presence. People knew who I was. They knew who Darkside Phil was online. Jasper, he knocked my jersey down. How dare you? Jasper, get your foot off my jersey. He knocked my jersey down. That's very rude of you. How dare you knock down my NFL jersey? Unacceptable behavior from this cat today. Anyway, I figured, would you get your paws off my jersey for a second? Let me hang it back up. Okay. So, I figured that a good way, an easy way for someone to recognize me at a gaming tournament would be to actually have something with my name on it. Now, do you want to walk around with a big name tag on your chest like a nerd or a dweeb? Of course you don't. It was very manly going to video game tournaments. I know that sounds stupid, but it actually was. He just did it again. Jasper, stop knocking down my jerseys. He's knocking my jerseys down and attacking them on the floor. I'll hang this one over here. Okay, maybe now it won't come up. Okay, so yeah, like basically, it was seen, especially with Street Fighter. Like, you wanted to look cool. You didn't want to look like a jerk or a dweeb or a nerd. You didn't want to walk around with a name tag or whatever so people know who you were. So instead, and by the way, there was no online presence back then. There was no online video or nothing. No one knew who anyone looked like. Okay, no one had any clue. So basically, I got these jerseys custom made right off the NFL website. Like, this is NFL.com. You buy them. They were expensive too. I remember they were like probably at that point, early 2000s, you could probably get one for just under $100. But I bought all three. So, you know, I spent hundreds of dollars on these jerseys. I basically picked the color schemes I liked the best. I didn't even care about what teams they were for. I just wanted them to say Dark Side so people would know that I was Dark Side Phil. And, you know, I wanted to have them be a cool color scheme. So I ended up getting black and white, black and gray, and then the black, blue, and white schemes, okay? And I wore them to tournaments. I'd say I wore them to tournaments for about a year to year and a half. Not all the time, but they were a nice way. If I wore them, people would recognize me or whatever. But the funny part was, so I didn't want to be associated with the football teams because I wasn't a big American football fan. So I was wondering, how could I stop the branding? And I was just going to buy like simple patches and put like a patch over, like, for example, just to show you here, with this Panthers jersey, which Jasper's laying between the jerseys on the floor. Now, I'm serious. He's laying between them. Right here on a regular Panthers jersey on the arm, there'd be a Panthers logo. So you say, oh, it's a Panthers logo jersey. So you're a fan of the Panthers, right? No, absolutely not. Basically, what I did was I was going to buy a patch and cover it. My mom, now, of course, you know, this is 23 years ago. I was only like 18 years old. My mom says, oh, I'll actually do something for you. I'll sew over it. She created an artificial arm. In fact, you can, well, you can't, darn. Oh, yes, you can. Do you see the Panthers logo? There it is. So you can still see the Panthers logo on the inside. What she did, she had fabric that was the same kind of fabric as the jersey, and she made a fake arm and sewed it onto the edge to block out the Panthers logo. So no one would run around chasing me saying, hey, are you a Panthers fan, and bother me about the Panthers, okay? The other jerseys actually didn't need it because the others' jerseys are both for the Raiders, and for whatever reason, the Raiders don't have their logo on their jersey. Yeah.